No, we passed some state laws and we're done. Bye-bye. And who's going to teach the kids? Well, the left always says it takes a village to raise a child. Isn't that what Hillary Clinton, didn't she write a book a few years ago? Oh, yeah, she did. I have it in my library. I have to buy these books to read them and talk about them, and I did full shows on them. And Hillary's book was It Takes a Village. Well, of course, by village, they mean the government, which includes the government teachers. Which, by the way, remember the PTA teacher in Hamilton County? I still have the picture. It's framed and in my hallway going to my office. House is an extremist comparable to that of the blacklisting of the 1950s and the Ku Klux Klan. Who will be the next speaker who comes to town? A terrorist with a gun in his belt? Basically comparing me to Gaddafi. Okay, that right there is the mentality of most of your government school teachers. I'm sorry. And again, to the good ones, God bless you, but you know what? You can do better. You can literally do better. So here's what I suggest. If it takes a village to raise a child, as they say, let's start with one school district in Tennessee or Florida or Texas. We fire all those teachers. And now we ask the community, the village, to step up. And if you're an engineer, you're an architect, guess what? You're now teaching math. And you're going to volunteer and you're going to teach 50 minutes, Monday through Friday. Some of you guys may only teach one time a week. We'll figure out the schedule, and we're going to bring in guys that have backgrounds in business because, mostly those who teach, they teach because they can't. So we're going to bring in people that can and that have done it, and we're going to make them the teachers. So now we're bringing in to teach algebra and all these other advanced classes, engineers and architects. And they can actually take kids out of the job site, give them hard hats and say, here's the project you guys have been helping us with. We're using math in the real world to build a building, and you guys have been working on this in the classroom, and look at this. Here's your building you're building. Some of you are mechanics, electricians, and HVAC, and you can have these kind of classes. And this is not the government choosing this. This is the students in consultation with their parents. Others could teach music and choir. Others can teach band. Some can teach history. Some can teach home ec. But we'll be bringing the best and the brightest from a community of people who, a CPA could teach accounting. Someone like myself could teach television production. Because, this high school in my town has, a state of the art. It's like $100 million building, isn't it, guys? Yeah, it's like $100 million, over $100 million, Logan says. They actually have, it's over $100 million school in my community. They actually have car lifts in there where the cars lift up off the ground and you can work on them, like a real mechanic shop. Don't they have something like a really advanced health room too, Logan? They have welding, they have all this. But now we're going to have real welders, real mechanics, real CPAs, real engineers, real architects, and they'll all volunteer their time. So volunteer their time, because guess what? Now our property tax is going to go to near zero, just enough to take care of police, fire, paving roads. And those who teach will pay zero property tax. Zero. As long as you're a teacher, as long as you're, quote, volunteering, and if we have to pay you $1 to get you insurance for liability, but you won't be paying any property tax. Everybody will have a vested interest. They will line up out the door with their resumes, and now you've just saved a lot of money, and you're getting the best and the brightest to actually teach subjects, not to brainwash and indoctrinate. That's an idea I want to explore. I think we need to start thinking out of the box, don't you? Start thinking outside of the box. We're going to deal with that tonight with Alex Newman. Let's see. Joining me now, we're going to be joined by Aaron at about the 15-minute mark. Joining me now is Dr. Andy Woods. Dr. Woods, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Brandon, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
You too, my friend. Let's talk about some of the issues in the news. We always like to go through the news with you. So let's do that. Let's start with this one right here. Trump signs an executive order targeting the International Criminal Court and anti-Christian bias. Tell me about this one. Why did you put this one in our list of things to talk about today?
Well, I have a section there, called the work of the restrainer. And, a lot of the prophecy type ministries today, it's totally doom and gloom. Trump is part of the conspiracy. Some are trying to argue Trump is the Antichrist, all this kind of stuff.
You want to name any names? Who's saying this? Can you name names or you don't want to?
Well, a couple of them are my friends, so I don't want to. if they weren't my friends, I'd name the names. But,
okay, fair enough.
But it's I'm kind of bothered by it because most people are throwing out 2 Thessalonians 2 verses 6 and 7, which indicates that before the man of lawlessness comes, there's a restrainer in the earth. So I completely concur that the world is being set up for the tribulation period. No problem there. But God is doing a countervailing work. He's holding back the forces of Antichrist as we speak. And I can't help but think of that passage when I look at all of these, in my opinion, are wonderful executive orders. I mean, Trump is pushing back against the International Criminal Court, the kind of the globalist, the judicial arm, the legal arm of the New World Order. He's pushing back against Christian bias. I mean, don't we have Christian bias in our society today? Set up a special committee with Pam Bondi, leading it. And I just have a whole bunch of articles related to that. And so I agree that the rapture is imminent. I agree we're in the end times. I agree we're in the latter times of the church age. But let's not forget that God is doing something significant also through the restrainer. And I think he'll continue to do that until the rapture. I am starting to believe that the Trump administration, although not perfect, people tell me, well, you think Trump is your savior. No, I don't. Trump is not the God-man that can mediate between God and man. Only Jesus is my personal savior. But God uses people in government, just like he used Cyrus in Old Testament times to release the Israelis from the 70-year captivity, although Cyrus clearly was unsaved. Isaiah 45 verse 4 says that. He clearly uses the institution of human government when he wants to sort of put handcuffs on Satan. And so that's why I brought that article up and a bunch of others.
Here's another one. Argentina's leader, Milei, follows Trump and ditches the World Health Organization. Others to follow, question mark?
Yeah, that just shows you the global significance Trump is having, because when he makes a move, everybody else kind of follows. It's like when he moved, remember, he moved our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Well, everybody else started to do it once he did it. And he yanked us out of the I call it the World Hell Organization, or the World Homicide Organization, that Biden, crammed us into without going through the treaty process that you have to go through according to the Constitution. Well, Trump yanked us out of that. And there's Argentina. They're following suit. So these are not pro-Antichrist moves. I mean, the Antichrist would be trying to jam us into the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Accord. And he's setting, this just shows you the positive influence a strong nationalistic leader can have. And God gave us Donald Trump, I believe, as a reprieve this time.
Yeah, buying us a little time. My wife and I were talking last night after I got off the air, and I said, Kash Patel's been sworn in. I said, think about this. We can go to bed tonight for the first time in 4 years and know that there is a man at the head of the FBI that appreciates what we do. In fact, how many times have we produced Kash Patel through our control room, Logan? He said a lot. He couldn't keep track. I said, think about it. We used to go to bed fearing, literally, that the FBI would kick down our door with guns. Now we're going to bed tonight with an FBI director who we've produced through our control room. What a 180.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. I want to thank you for all your support at wvwfoundation.com that helps make possible pushing out 24/7 content for free. Without your support, we'd have to put it all behind a paywall. But thanks to you and your support through our foundation, we're able to push it out for free as a broadcast service and broadcast ministry of WVW Foundation. Please consider going there and setting up an automatic monthly contribution, or go there and make an occasional contribution. If you prefer to support us through the mail, you'll find our mailing address there at wvwfoundation.com. You can also call and make your contribution over the phone by calling 901-825-0652. That's 901-825-0652. Again, all these details are available at wvwfoundation.com. Thank you for your support as we try to help people around the world understand the times through the lens of a Christian worldview.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Worldview Radio, our website, worldviewradio.com. Now, tomorrow night, Saturday night, February 22nd, starting at 6:30 Central, our State of the Union panel will start tomorrow night in studio. We were going to have it at a theater. We decided to just do it in studio. In studio, J.J. Carroll, Todd Bensman, and Colonel Rob Maness in studio for our State of the Union panel, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night for Vault members. If you're a Vault member, you just log into your account, Logan says, and there will be a third player on the home screen that is the live stream, and it starts at 6:30 Central. Okay? Again, more details on being a member of our Vault, which is a big way we are able to help fund our broadcast ministry, is worldviewtube.com/vault for more details, worldviewtube.com/vault. And you'll also be able to live stream our rally, Understanding the Times Worldview Rally, that's coming up on Tuesday evening, April 15th at the Waukesha Expo Center. And those tickets are going fast. They're free. I'll tell you how you can get them, but you'll be able to live stream that. And then this fall, October 3rd and 4th, you'll be able to live stream our national conference with myself, Mark Mitchell, the lead pollster at Rasmussen, Gordon Chang, Sidney Powell, Alex Newman, and others. You'll be able to live stream that. So a lot of benefits for our Vault members to say thank you for supporting our broadcast ministry. Full details, worldviewtube.com/vault. Now, if you want to get the free tickets for the upcoming event in April with Dr. Woods and myself, April 15th, Tuesday evening, and we found out yesterday, Aaron will be there with us live in person. Providentially worked out. He's going to be in the States. So it'll be myself, it'll be Aaron, and it'll be Dr. Woods. And I think we're starting at Logan at 6:30. I think we're moving it back to 6:30 because we need to allow a little more time for Aaron in there. So 6:30, we're changing it from 6:30 to 9:30. 6:30 to 9:30. Now that we've added in Aaron, tickets are free, but you have to get a ticket so we can put out enough chairs. Worldviewtube.com/events. Worldviewtube.com/events. All right. We're going to go to Aaron here in just a little bit, find out what's the latest in Israel after these bus bombings. Thankfully, no one was killed. But joining us for our weekly Middle East Bible prophecy update is Dr. Andy Woods. Okay, Dr. Woods, this is very interesting that you sent me this article today. NCAA caves to Trump bans transgender athletes. Because apparently, I haven't heard it, President Trump just told the governor of what state? Maine? Where was this being held? At the White House? It is a governor's thing. And apparently President Trump just told the governor of Maine, are you here? Are you here? That if you want to get any federal money, you better stop this transgender stuff in your sports. And apparently she mouthed back, I will see you in court, Dr. Woods. Now, let's remember, Dr. Woods is not only a pastor, he's also an attorney. So we can go to him for legal stuff.
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, this shows you who Trump is. I mean, we've had countless Republicans that have said they're going to do this or that and done nothing. I mean, here's a guy that's actually a doer rather than just a talker. And then secondly, that article that I sent you demonstrates the power of a strong president, just like the prior issue with Argentina. Trump pulls us out of the World Health Organization. Argentina follows. Trump says we're not going to have, we're not going to federally subsidize men and women's sports. And all of a sudden, the NCAA, which is a independent organization, adopts Trump's policy. So I'm not sure what the issue is with this particular governor you're talking about, but Trump is the head over the executive branch of government, and he has every right to say, he has the right to dry up funds, since he's the one that largely in the executive branch enforces the law. So yeah, I guess she can say, "I'll see you in court." She's probably planning on some rigged, judge trying to stop it, but. At the end of the day, you want to put men into women's sports, then no more money for you. Yeah. And I say hallelujah and amen.
Yeah. Well, I have not heard this clip, but I asked them to verify that all the language is clean and we can play it. So we'll hear. They verified it is. So we'll hear it for the first time. Here's the actual clip that just went down, I guess. Here we go.
It's just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, "I can't do it." They forced her to go out. "No, go out again. You'll do it." Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die, and it's crazy. But the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Not here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it, because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility.
Wow. I mean, it's so refreshing. Could you see George H., George W. doing that? They all want to play nice. They all play nice. And we're all seeing how buddy-buddy the Obamas and the Bushes are. Now, my buddy, Judge Joe Brown, he used to have a judge show. He was the second most rated reality judge show in the country. At times, he actually beat Judge Judy, he says. He's from the Memphis area. He lives right up the road. He's been in our studio a few times. Judge Joe says he has seen the picture. He can't find it. It's been scrubbed from the internet. He said he has seen the picture of a young Barack Obama in the golf cart with George W. and George H. because Barack Obama's daddy, his stepdaddy, was playing golf with the Bushes, and he was an oil/CIA guy. And of course, Barry's mother was reportedly with the CIA. I think one of his grandfathers was with the CIA. And of course, Papa Bush was with the CIA as a CIA director. No wonder they all get along with each other. It is one big incestuous deep state. And that's why they all get along. And they would never talk like this, because it is a club. And Trump is not a member of their club. But you could never see George W. doing that, or George H., or any of them, right? What Trump just did to that that governor in Maine.
Yeah, you would never see it had John McCain won. You would have never seen it if Mitt Romney had won, because all of the above are part of the, uniparty, part of the club. Now, I just looked up real quick. I wanted to see if this governor was a Democrat or a Republican. I think she's a Democrat. But the refreshing thing about Trump is he would do it if she was a rhino Republican.
Yes, he would.
I mean, and, I love Ronald Reagan, but Ronald Reagan sort of pansied, turned the Republican Party into pansies with the saying, "Thou shalt not speak evil of or bad against a fellow Republican."
The 11th commandment, as he called it.
Yeah, the 11th commandment. The refreshing thing about Trump is he doesn't really care what you are. You're either with his policies or not, the R or D, in front of one's name. as we know, is becoming increasingly meaningless anyway. It's like the name evangelical. I mean, what does that even mean anymore? Republican, what does that even mean anymore? And the refreshing thing about Trump is he would have pushed back just as hard if she had been a Republican. So I like your choice of words there. You know, what refreshment we're getting.
Yeah, look at this last one. We'll go to Aaron. Department of Education cancels $600 million in woke teacher training grants. This fits in perfectly with my firing public school teachers, and let's start a test with high schools and let the community with actual people who have business success and engineering and architect and mechanical, HVAC, welding, carpentry, let them be the teachers. They pay zero property tax as long as they're a teacher and volunteer for 50 minutes Monday through Friday, or maybe they do a special class once a week or whatever. And then everybody else's property tax drops by like 90% just to fund the cops and the fire department and the roads. This is a perfect example because we've done nothing but teach a bunch of teachers to comply with communism. And even the so-called good teachers that are there, many of them think they're conservatives, but they're not. They just like the social. They don't want to pay taxes. So I'm a Republican. It's like they're just rhinos, most of these. Oh, I'm a conservative. You know, I got neighbors in my neighborhood that think they're conservative. And like, you've never conserved anything in your life, buddy boy. I know your wife has told my wife that if you lost your job, you would lose your house in 6 months. Okay. And that's because every time we turn around, you're taking a cruise and going to Dollywood and to Vegas. I mean, my wife sees what you guys are up to on social media. Hello. And then your wife tells my wife, hey, my husband lost his job. We'd lose our house in 6 months, which tells me you're not a conservative. So most of these so-called conservative in the public schools, they're not conservatives. And they've been brainwashed by $600 million in woke teacher training grants. Fire them all. Dr. Woods?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to play ball, then no more money. And, you know, all those, if you look at that article, those teaching grants, it's for stuff like, you know, climate, all this garbage, climate justice, critical race theory, white privilege. It's all, as you said, to indoctrinate people into Marxism. And think about if not just that money, but time spent studying all of that leftist worldview nonsense. If you redirected people's efforts into what schools are supposed to actually be teaching, you know, real history, real math, real science, real reading, real writing, real arithmetic. I mean, no wonder our kids are falling behind in every category because half of the day is spent, you know, on a bunch of trivial pursuit through all of this sort of left-wing educational propaganda. So you only have so many hours in the classroom day to teach, and you only have so many hours to study. And so all of our students, their minds are divided because their effort and energy is misdirected in all of this politically correct, you know, sort of propaganda. And now they can't actually function mathematically. They don't understand the famous table of elements for chemistry. They just don't. You were talking earlier about architecture. They wouldn't know the first thing about putting together the engineering for a bridge or a building. I mean, how could you master those subjects when half of your day is spent, you know, chasing politically correct nonsense?
Yeah, very well said. All right, joining me real quick with Dr. Woods is our reporter on the ground in Israel, Aaron Levarco, brought to you by our foundation, Worldview Foundation.com. Aaron, welcome. Yesterday, while we were on the air, it was breaking news that I think 2 or 3 buses had exploded. Now we have a total of 5. A couple of them were detonated, but they were all set to go off at the same time. And now we're hearing, and I have in my Worldview Report newscast tonight, that there was an inscription found with one of them pointing back to the Gaza, correct?
Yeah, Brennan, big news, massive news. One lady reported that she saw something suspicious on one bus. So the bus driver pulled over to the side, told everyone to get off the bus. The moment everyone was off the bus exploded. Then within a short time, 2 other buses exploded. So what happened? All of the buses and all the trains were told to stop. The buses pulled over. they found 15 buses, 1-5.
Whoa. This is breaking
But
news.
God
The last
told
we
them,
had was five. Hold right there. The music's playing. We'll come right back. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHouseBG.com.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast. Glad you are with us. I just want to ask really quick our listening audience to pray for a family that they are regular listeners. They are regular listeners to our program. I won't divulge their name. I'll protect their family, their privacy. But one of our regular listeners, their granddaughter was found unresponsive and taken to the ER for a CT scan. And so anyway, pray for that family. They asked and reached out for prayer. And so do that. We also, by the way, have another family. I won't reveal their name. They're from Minnesota. And last October, the husband and the wife came to our Worldview weekend. They came up to me and spoke with my wife and I. I remember them distinctly, and I know who some of their family members are back in Minnesota. He passed away unexpectedly a couple weeks ago. Completely a shock, totally unexpected, passed away. So again, the Lord knows their name. I'm not going to infringe on their privacy, but that's 2 families that I can tell you right now to pray for that are regular listeners in our listening audience. Pray for them, particularly that also this lady that lost her husband. I mean, a long-time marriage, came out of nowhere, and as you can imagine, this is extremely difficult. And so pray for her and the whole family and this other family I mentioned to you and their granddaughter. We get a lot of prayer requests like that, folks, and just pray for them. The Lord knows exactly who it is you're praying for. Even if we don't give out their name, the Lord knows exactly who it is you're praying for. Joining me again is Aaron. Aaron, you just told us something we did not know. We had 5 buses. You used the last word 15, but you acted like there was a lot more yet to go before we had to go to that hard break. Pick it up there, please.
So 15 buses, they found on 15 buses bombs. And the people that were planning on detonating them made a big mistake. They were supposed to set it for 9 o'clock this morning, Friday morning, when everyone goes to work or studies or goes out. But instead, they set it for 9 o'clock last night. They all went off. 5 went off, but we were able to undetonate a number of them. But Brandon, this is the big news. Based on intelligence, while these explosions were all supposed to go off at once, causing at least in the hundreds, if not in the thousands of casualties, all of our security forces would have made it into the Dan region, the central region, Tel Aviv, leaving many, many areas vulnerable, and there was a planned attack, I don't know on the scale of October the 7th, but from Judea and Samaria. A major attack was supposed to take place. Our military intelligence got tipped off, and they immediately went. I mean, we're already in Judea and Samaria, but immediately we have stepped up our fight against the terror cells. And even as we're talking right now, Benjamin Netanyahu, about 2 hours ago, gave more orders to really step up and go in and fight these terrorists. We are wiping out whole streets. inside Judea and Samaria. That's the West Bank, politically called the West Bank. So, look, I'm not a sensationalist, but seriously, this is nothing shorter than a miracle, because there was no military intelligence here. There was no Mossad or Shabak. This was a human error, but potentially what it could have turned out to be. So a lot of people are seeing this as a real miracle, saving potentially hundreds, if not thousands, and an attack from within Judea and Samaria of potentially, who knows, an army or at least a battalion. There's going to be more to come. There's going to come out more from the intelligence as the hours and as the days go by. But this is a war. We're at war. These people are not giving up. And what happened yesterday, we saw the brutality and the barbarianism of these people. If there's people watching or listening right now who haven't yet woken up or understood the nature of the people that we're fighting against, you better wake up, because if it's coming into your hometown, these people are merciless. They don't care. We saw that with the slaying of the babies. And then, of course, last night I was reporting, Brandon, that they starved or thirst these babies to death.
Yes.
And that potentially could have happened at the beginning, but our forensic laboratories people found that their throats were slit, Brandon. Who slits the throats of children? And then the last thing, and I'm sure you know this, and maybe some of the listeners know, the mother that was returned in coffins that were locked, no keys, to humiliate us, or at least to try and humiliate us. It found out from doing DNA tests that this was not the mother. And so we don't know where the mother is. We don't know whether she's dead, whether she's alive. No one knows who this lady is. We're still trying to find out who this is. This is sick stuff. And
well, first of all, this brings up a couple questions. Number one, why are your buses not secured at night? How could they get on 15 buses and rig them with explosives? I mean, again, this is Israel. You would think after all the bus bombings and all the things you guys have dealt with for decades, your buses would be completely secured with it behind chain link fences and razor wires with guards that, you know, are there and camera systems that no one could do that. How did they do that?
Brandon, listen, we have 2 million Arab Israelis, meaning they look similar to us. They dress similar to us. They get on the same buses. They sit in the same cafeterias as us. They eat at the same restaurants as us. It's impossible.
Well, are you saying then that these explosives were brought onto the bus? They weren't pre-rigged, say, at night on the grounds. They were brought onto the buses when the buses were out on their route.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously they did that. Now, I don't know whether we're going to need to go into if you go into a bank or into a post office, a public or government building, you've got security people with swipers, you've got electric stuff, all of that. But on every bus, that would be quite something. And we may need to go to that. I don't know. But if we can eliminate Hamas, and I'm telling you, from what I'm hearing through intelligence, we're going to do it. We've got no choice. But we can't right now. We are compelled to go through this humiliating, or at least they're trying to humiliate us, process of giving back their prisoners while we get every single hostage. If we do not get every hostage back, even dead or even alive, it's going to be a disaster on our nation, on our psyche. We are compelled to. Hamas has got us in this place. We are paying the price. We will pay the price. But I can tell you this: once that last hostage is back in our hands, like if I can use the words of Donald Trump, all hell is going to break out. Our nation knows it. Our nation is getting ready for it. At least something positive. There is a unity right now. We are united, but there's still a process. There's still about 68 hostages Tomorrow we're getting 6 more back. We're handing over 608 prisoners, many with multiple life sentences. But that's the price. That's the,
yeah, well, if you had
nature.
capital punishment, those 608 would be dead. So your country needs to toughen up a little bit and start executing these people. And then you wouldn't have any hostages, so-called hostages. They're terrorists to give away, to trade with. Sorry, we don't have anything. Let's go to the fact, too, in my Worldview report tonight. I'm reporting on the bodies of 70 Christians have been found beheaded inside a church in the Democratic Republic of Congo, okay? And it was an Islamist group. So let's just make sure people understand, it's not only Israel and the Jews being targeted by the Islamists, it's Christians all over the world. And now, Dr. Woods, 70 Christians found beheaded inside a church in the Democratic Republic of Congo, according to Open Doors in their report. Dr. Woods?
Well, it's repulsive, it's disgusting, but it's predicted. I mean, Revelation 17, verse 6 and verse 15 anticipates that the harlot named Babylon will shed the blood of God's people all over the earth. And so we're just seeing the initial, signs of this. And the things that Aaron, is describing, I mean, it's so horrific, it defies logic. And the reason it defies logic is ultimately it's not motivated by human logic. It's motivated by the fallen angelic world, whose number one ambition is to take every physical descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and eliminate them, so there'll be no one left to call Yeshua or Jesus back to the earth in fulfillment of Matthew chapter 23, verses 37 through 39. And so, it's the only thing that really keeps me sane in the midst of seeing all of this horror is understanding it through a prophetic grid, which indicates that history is moving somewhere.
Yeah, it is definitely moving, isn't it? Let's open the phone lines. 1-800-347-9829. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions for Aaron, for Dr. Woods. 1-800-347-9829. 1-800-347-9829. If you guys go over to worldviewreport.com, worldviewreport.com is your daily aggregated news site. You also see there some news stories I put up today. Trump is a peacemaker, but will not allow a nuclear Iran, says Secretary of State Rubio. This is more of what Leo Holman and others we've been talking about. Trump is not part of the military-industrial complex. He doesn't want war, but he also understands that Iran, being behind October 7th, can't get nuclear weapons, which I think they already have, at least one or two. But I agree. Donald Trump is trying to walk the tightrope and not go to war. Comment on this, please, Aaron.
Yeah, and rightly so. He knows that it will not only be a danger to the Middle East, but to the world at large, and it will open up a world for trade, because other nations will look at Iran and say, okay, now they've become nuclear, we want to become nuclear. And no one stopped them. What right do you have in stopping us? And who knows what Iran may do under the table and on the black market and all of that. So, there's a lot of talk about it. Someone needs the will, the strength of the will to do something. And Donald Trump was a president of peace in his first presidency. Let's see what he's going to be this time.
The senior Iranian commander at worldviewreport.com, senior Iranian commander says Tehran is prepared for war with Israel. All right. Here's another interesting one, Dr. Woods, real quick. Minnesota's great replacement. How mass migration is erasing the state's identity. I haven't been up there since, I don't know what it was. Can't remember now. 2000, I don't remember, 17. Yeah, 17. 2017, there was last I was there. And I was right by the Mall of America. It looked like I was in Saudi Arabia. It was horrific. I mean, they've destroyed that state, Dr. Woods.
Yeah, and we've also got your buddy Yasser Qadi, building a Sharia-compliant city, near Dallas. You probably saw that story.
Oh, I did. It's 400 and some odd acres. Yeah, absolutely, I did. 1-800-347-9829. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions. Phone lines now open, folks. 1-800-347-9829. 1-800-347-9829. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Is the government tracking you? Do they have access to all your data? Well, if you go to worldviewtalk.com, you'll find out about a cell phone company that, well, does not store your data. They don't do that. This is what they're known for. They don't store your data. You have privacy. You're not being tracked. That's why a lot of folks are turning to worldviewtalk.com. You'll find their prices are very competitive. All the details are there at worldviewtalk.com. Again, worldviewtalk.com. Oh, while you're there, not only do they have cell phones that aren't tracking you, you can find out about how to get a satellite phone. Should the whole system go down and you want to communicate with a family member or a loved one, you might want to have a satellite phone. Or how about their solar generators? They have great solar generators. Check them all out right now. Worldviewtalk.com, worldviewtalk.com.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. 1-800-347-9829. 1-800-347-9829. 1-800-347-9829. Let's start out with Dennis in Missouri, line 2. Hi, Dennis.
Brandon, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Well, I've been at work listening to the Bible all day, and I was listening to the King James Version of, of how that's the Bible to go by and stuff, and talking about the 777s and all the different things, and God uses numbers and things. I'm the guy that's called and said I was born Baptist, went Lutheran, all this stuff, whatever. But right now, I've told your screener that my mom was forced to take the shot to get a heart valve replacement. 6 months later, she died of myocarditis. And, she's first all her life. She was a Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, the work, name it, claim it, every odd thing in the world. And she died on 7/7/21. And I'm not Jewish, but that's a sign to me that my mom is in heaven with Jesus. And I'm so proud of it. I'm crying for Israel today. And
well, thank you, Dennis.
Through the book of the Gospel of John, and I tell them, it's like, look, in the very first thing it says, God, the Word was God, with God. It's like, it's the Word, people. He left the Bible for you to read. It's not your communion, your sacraments. It's God's Word, and He puts it in your heart. And that's all I can say, and I'm about ready to break up.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for calling, and I'm sorry for your loss of your mom, and I'm glad you have the assurance that she knew the Lord. I am, and I am so sorry. And you know what, Dennis, you are like so many that have lost family members to this stupid biological weapon, the clot shot. And what's so interesting, Dennis, is that in the last 24 to 48 hours, Daily Mail UK, which is not a conservative publication, although they do some good publishing sometime, they have come out with 2 strong articles exposing how many people have died and been injured by the shot. So I don't know what happened and why the corporate media is now turning, but it started, it looks like, with Daily Mail. We'll see where it goes. And now President Trump reportedly is about to ban all of these mRNA shots, COVID shots. So he's backing away from something that he's talked about and bragged about, Operation Warp Speed. So, Dennis, many, many families are in your situation, and I'm so sorry. Now we're reading reports today that in corporate media, again, that people are getting AIDS, this autoimmune disease or AIDS from the shot, which is exactly what Dr. Judy Mikovich was talking about with me in 2020, and people were saying, oh, this is crazy talk. Oh, wow. Let's go to Joan, line 4. Joan in Arkansas. Thank you, Joan, for calling in.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Brandon, for taking my call. On your topic of apprenticeship and volunteering for the schools, I think that's doable, especially we have to get the NEA totally out of the school system. And I think all teachers don't really want to teach a lot of this junk, but they feel forced to. I would encourage more parents to get together maybe with other parents in the community and try to get, I think Arkansas for a lot of years did have an umbrella school where the parents taught at home, but 2 days a week the kids went to the church and they were overseen by like church staff and had programs, together.
Right. Well, Joan, you're right. We got to get creative. We got to think out of the box. And then we could also save people a lot of money so that mom can stay at home. We won't force two parents into the workforce with inflation and everything else. There's so many benefits that can come from the things that Trump's talking about doing or that we're proposing here that are outside the box. No doubt about it. Jim in Joplin, line 3. Hi, Jim. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Brandon. On the AI front, I just wanted to get you and Dr. Woods' take on the story I heard day before yesterday about Microsoft and this new computer chip that they have devised. Supposedly this thing is the single most advanced computer chip out there.
Well,
the processing power that this thing has, they're predicting in a couple of years will be literally unlimited.
Yep. Jim, it's in my Worldview report tonight. The Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, says his company has developed an entirely new state of matter that we used to think about things in regards to, how we describe state and what is considered state, like solid, liquid, or gas. But this is a so-called topological state. This is harnessed to produce a more stable qubit that's fast, small, and can be digitally controlled without the trade-offs required by current alternatives. Is that what you're referring to, Jim?
Yes, it is.
That's in the Worldview report tonight.
Great.
There you go. Let me ask Dr. Woods, what do you make of this? I mean, this is all, and by the way, Logan, isn't it Elon Musk? Elon Musk has his Grok right here in Memphis, a few miles from where I'm sitting. Logan, didn't he just say on X, he's used up what percentage of the world's of the country or world's refrigeration? 3/4 of the world's refrigeration, bringing in semi trucks to cool these supercomputers in our backyard here in Memphis because they're running so fast and hot. Dr. Woods, where is all this leading?
Well, we all know where it's leading. It's, it's leading to Revelation 13, 16 through 18. It's interesting, the infamous Mark of the Beast passage. It's interesting how technology never seems to go the opposite way of Revelation 13. It's always careening towards, and we want to be clear, we're not saying this is the Mark of the Beast because we don't have the beast yet, but it certainly is a form of technology that's, setting the stage for that coming system described in the Bible where you can't buy or sell, without receiving something upon your right hand or forehead. And there's no need to allegorize that anymore. People used to look at that and just say, well, it really doesn't mean what it says. But technology has advanced to the point where, we can see how it's going to be literally fulfilled. And one other quick thing, it's interesting to me how technology, it never goes back to zero. In other words, it always builds on the foundation already erected. And that explains how it exponentially doubles, triples, quadruples so fast. And so from this point on, I mean, you're just going to see it,
fly.
Multiplying. Yeah,
Let's go to Shirley in Michigan, line 2. Shirley in Michigan, go fast, Shirley. We'll get you in.
Okay, real quick. First off, Aaron, my heart goes out to you. I feel terrible. Second off, Dr. Woods, with all I'm studying in Revelation in the news, do you think the Antichrist could be a Muslim?
Go quick, Dr. Woods.
I don't, because it says that he will demand worship above all that is called God. And I can't see a Muslim, putting himself over Allah. So I don't think he'll be a Muslim.
Dr. Woods, you have a special event at your church tomorrow. How can people find out about it online?
Free live streaming all day Saturday. Sugarland Bible Church, slbc.org.
All right, there you go. And we're tomorrow night live streaming, worldviewtube.com/vault. Take care, guys.
This has been...
And we're going to come back in with WROS out of Jacksonville, Florida, and Worldview Tube. Dr. Woods, plug it again. Where are you? What are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a prophecy conference for people, myself, Dr. Randall Price, Olivier Melnick, Bill Federer, all people, Brandon, that you know well.
Yep.
And have had at your conferences. And so it's an all-day Saturday conference. It's going to start 7:45 in the morning, and it's going to culminate with a Q&A session about 5:15, 5:30 or so. I think we'll probably wrap up about 6 or 6:30. And the whole thing, we're sold out in the building, but the whole thing is available for free online. The Sugarland Bible Church website, slbc.org, the Sugarland Bible Church Facebook page. You can catch the whole thing live on the Andy Woods Ministries website, Andy Woods Ministries app, Andy Woods Ministries Facebook page. And the great thing is we're done just in time for the Brandon House session, so people can leave our session and go right to Brandon's session. So
perfect. It'll work out. Tomorrow will be a full day of great content online from Dr. Woods. And as he said, then we start at 6:30 Central for our Vault members with in-studio Colonel Rob Maness, J.J. Carroll, and Todd Bensman. We're calling it our State of the Union panel. It's going to be a great event, folks, for Vault members, whether you join at the monthly rate, however you join. Just, again, go to worldviewtube.com/vault if you want to join. But you'll be able to live stream this event, the one coming up in April with Dr. Woods and I and Waukesha. You'll be able to live stream the fall event this coming fall with Sidney Powell and Gordon Chang and Alex Newman and Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen. So there's a lot of advantages to belonging to the Vault, worldviewtube.com/vault. That starts at 6:30 Central Time tomorrow night. Logan wants me to stress that if you are a Vault member, you just log into your account, go to the homepage of Worldview Tube. There'll be a third player there where we're streaming, okay? Now, let me mention real quickly if we go back to Aaron. What, Logan? What, Logan? You'll also be getting an email, so check your spam box. These are flying out the door. These are cards, business cards about our Worldview Tube, printed front and back, describing our mission statement, what we do. You guys asked for them. You wanted to have some to pass out to family and friends, and even people you meet maybe in the grocery store or at a restaurant. Pack of 20, they're free. We had to have another 1,000 printed today. You can get them for free, worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. Okay? And by the way, the fall conference is selling out fast. We only have 350 seats for that, and then the rest you'll have to watch online as a Vault member. But if you want to be here in the Mid-South, outside of Memphis, for that in person, 350 seats, it's going fast. I don't know if it's going to slow up or not, but right now it's shocking us. Worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com for that. All right, Aaron, let's go to you in the remaining moments. So, what is your prime minister saying? What is Netanyahu saying about these bus bombings? Because if those things had gone off, you're talking probably about several hundred people dead, easily.
At least, absolutely, and maimed for life and carnage. Hard to imagine. We've had many suicide bombs on buses over the years. We haven't had them for many years.
Whoa. Why? Why have you not had them for many years?
I'll tell you the main reason. Because when our past Prime Minister, Ariel Sharon, who sadly, he was the architect of pulling out of the Gaza Strip, but when he was the Prime Minister, he decided to build a fortification wall.
Oh, you mean walls work? Walls work?
Walls do work.
Huh.
He built about 100 miles of very high brick wall around the West Bank. And statistically, it has proven a success. Now, it's not 100% success, obviously, but a great success. That is the main reason to keep terrorists out of Israel. So that now, in answer to your question, what is Benjamin Netanyahu saying about it? He was actually at the site today, and he was reporting. He had a protective vest on, and he was trying to comfort the Israeli public because there was panic. There was panic. That's what terrorists do. They try to terrorize. They try to cause stress, and they try to cause us to turn against each other and against our leaders. But thank God, Benjamin Netanyahu went down. He was live on television. He tried to calm people, and he said, we are operating inside Judea and Samaria. We're upping the ante, and that's what we're doing. And as I said, we're wiping out whole streets in places like Tulkarm, Jenin. And by the way, if I can just say, I just got an update. Flash news, big news. I got one about half an hour ago, but I didn't mention it. But it's now been confirmed that the body of Sherry Bibas, the mother who apparently was returned with her dead children yesterday, turned out that it wasn't her. Well, just now it's confirmed by Israeli officials that her body has been handed over to the Red Cross.
Oh, so thanks for that.
Thankfully,
LikeToTheNationsMinistry.com. Take care.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Colonel Rob Maness has a lifelong record of providing dedicated service to this nation.